Batman has defeated the Clown Prince of Crime, even if he can't remember it. Here's your look at the new Diamond Select Batman 80 Years. This is the Vinimate's version of Batman Damned. Celebrate 80 years of the Cape Crusader with a new release of Vinimates from the folks over at Diamond Select. This current wave of 3 various different Batman figures consists of Batman Damned, Batman Who Laughs, and Batman the White Knight. Let's get some measurements going for Batman Damned. I hope you guys have been enjoying these Batman Vinimate reviews. I've been having a real blast looking at them. Really remembering how much I enjoy Vinimates, and then somewhat perplexed that I don't have a look at more of them on this channel. Hopefully that will change. For the figure though, you're on average, these things are about 4 inches. This one happens to be 4.1 inches. The one that was the Batman Who Laughs was a little bit taller than that. Yeah, don't worry, we'll do some size comparisons. But this one is 4.1 inches in height. And to my Canadian brethren, you're looking at the figure, or that's not fair. Across the world, those following their figures in centimeters, you're looking at this Batman being 10.6, a little over 10.5 centimeters in height. So, as promised, a couple of size comparisons here. Here he is next to the Batman White Knight, a figure which we just had a look at. Prior to that, we also had a look at Batman Who Laughs. This is the 3 Batman figures from the Batman 80 Years Vinimates lineup. Honestly speaking, I kind of like the look, though, of Batman Damned, but I think my heart is still going towards Batman Who Laughs. But you can see the height difference between all of them, just because he is hunched over, and because his legs are bent. Batman Damned is a little bit shorter than the other 2 Minimates, the other 2 Vinimates, I should say, that we've had a look at already. Having a look, though, at Batman Damned, it's based on a very short-run miniseries in comics where Batman kills, or believe he had killed, the Clown Prince of Crime, the Joker. Although he doesn't have any memory of it, he takes a dark turn into like the spiritual world along with Constantine to try to solve what had ended up happening. It's a really interesting and dark portrayal of not only Batman, but the Gotham City world that he lives in. Based on that figure, based on that character, we get ourselves a Vinimate, I keep wanting to say Minimate, a Vinimate version of Batman. And overall, I'm pretty happy with how this one turned out. It's different, and different actually in a good way. In fact, actually, if you put all the figures together like we had done in size comparisons, all the figures are unique to one another. They don't share a lot of similarities other than the fact it is Batman, of course, also sporting a cowl. But that's about all that they share. This particular Batman does definitely have much more the grimmest look on his face. He's very anguished, and you can certainly tell that in his mouth. Once again, they have taken a more cylinder soup can shape of their Minimate line, made these figures, of course, a lot bigger, and detailed them with some nice panel lining around Batman's mouth, around his teeth, and around his chin. This one also does sport the nose. Of course, the other Batman that we had to look at as well, the Batman White Knight, also sported a nose. The only one that really didn't was the Batman Who Laughs. This one is a little bit different as well. The bat emblem is a little raised, more attached to the cape than it is part of the actual bodysuit. The actual bat emblem is very much different than what we had seen before. But like, if you look at just solely the Batman head, it's probably the closest to looking just like a Batman of the 3 figures that we had to look at. I really do like the shading that they put around the eyes. Really, again, giving him that dark, gritty look that he would have in Batman Damned. As for his costume, though, this is kind of where things get a little bit different, taking a slight detour from what we normally would expect to find with Batman. Here, though, we kind of get little nods to like an armored up Batman, where you've got these peaked areas of like a meshed bodysuit. It's done in silver against the backdrop of a more darker gray body. He does have the gauntlet gloves. You can see that there's a little bit more texturing that's done to this. And again, like, they give you the idea, the notion that these things have clamped hands. Would love to see, for maybe down the road ideas, that Diamond Select actually give you accessories. Obviously, it can't work with all the figures. It certainly could work with Batman Who Laughs. May not have worked with Batman White Knight because his fists were together, but most definitely for Batman Damned, they could have given him a couple of accessories just to clamp that in place. Like I said, he is hunched over, not crunched over like I had said before. Looking at his cape, though, it's a much wider cape than both the Batman figures that we had a look at. Even Batman Who Laughs really doesn't have a cape, but his trench coat sort of serves as a cape, even with the pointed tips down below. This Batman cape does have a little bit more defined details to it than maybe the other two that we had a look at. It's a very interesting looking cape. And again, this front section is not something you normally expect to find with Batman, and it seems to work rather well for this particular rendition of him. His utility belt is a little bit more brown in color, moving away from the idea of a gray utility belt, or most definitely a yellow utility belt. Like Batman Damned is very much more rooted in I don't want to say realistic, because it certainly is far from being realistic, but definitely more grittier Gotham than what we had seen before. For this figure, he doesn't have, sadly, any articulation. Don't worry, I did check before the record button hit, because I did say that in the Batman White Knight review, that I thought across the board none of these Vinimates actually had any posability. And I can actually now say that confidently. I don't know why they've removed the articulation, because some of the earlier Vinimates used to have, if anything, a head articulation. Everything else was basically just left to the sculpt, and a stunning sculpt these were. But I kind of missed the days when these were articulated, at least in the head. I can understand why Diamond Select opted simply just to release it as all one piece. The cost of production and producing these, much more affordable when you're making one singular mold of all these, as opposed to a separate mold tooled for just the head, and then you got to put the head onto the socket of the shoulders. So again, I can understand why they probably would have just gone with no articulation across the board and just giving us one solid figure. Like I said, he's definitely a fun-looking Batman. He fits, I think, looking more like Batman, at least in the face, like I said, than the other two that we had a look at. But no articulation in the arms, nothing in the hands, nothing also in the waist. The reasoning why you're picking these up are probably one of two reasonings. The first one is probably like me. You're probably a little tired of seeing a saturation of vinyl figures when you go into your comic book stores or retail stores, and they're just everywhere. Every single place you can find, nook and cranny wise, they're filled with these pops. I'm not going to mention the company, but you already know what I'm talking about. It's nice, a breath of fresh air to kind of get something a little bit different. As different as, say, Batman Damned is to a regular Batman, these Vinimates are very different to what we normally would get with regular vinyl figures, but they're kind of still in that same price market that what we got with the other vinyl figures. So I think they're still affordable if you're looking to pick these ones up for yourself. Again, I really would love to see more figures as an extension of these. For certainly the Batman Who Laughs, the Batman White Knight, and even the Batman Damned. All of these characters inhabit a world that have other characters in it as well. It's nice that we're also getting Batman from those specific universes, but I would love to also see those side characters, certainly the villains, and Joker, of course, make some of these appearances in Vinimate form, that you can add them along with the ones that you already have in your collection. Now, I had mentioned in the review that there are two reasons why you probably would want to pick up these lines, and I only really mentioned one of them. The first one that I did mention was the fact that you're probably, like me, a little bit tired of the saturation of those other vinyl figures just flooding the shelves of your local comic book store. But I really failed to mention the second. Vinimates are an upgrade to the Minimate line, something of which that's still going strong to this day. Minimates back in the day, though, I was collecting every single thing that they were coming out on, and I probably reviewed a good handful of them on this channel. I think these also, the Vinimates that is, caters to collectors of the Minimates from yesteryear. If you're a big fan of Minimates back in the day, these are kind of like a nice evolutionary step up. They don't have the articulation, yes, but they still have all the cool charm that the Minimates had, just in a larger scale format. If you manage to pick up these ones for yourself, let me know in the comment section down below which is your favorite of the three. Or if you have watched all three of these reviews, thank you for that, by the way. I really appreciate that. You're such a good guy. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Help yourself to a sandwich. Based on these three reviews, let me know what your favorite Batman Vinimate is from the Batman 80 years. Of course, we're going to be having a look at some other Vinimates lined up in some upcoming reviews. So if this is your fancy, stay tuned because there's going to be a whole lot coming your way. The key, though, in making sure that all these are coming your way is making sure you hit that subscribe button down below. If you're new to this channel, a long-time viewer, and thought that you might have hit that subscribe button, but realizing quickly, oh, wait a minute, it still says subscribe. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, swing it next door, find out what happened in your past, and turn on that bell notification. So that when future videos are coming onto this channel, you'll never miss out. We're going to have a look at some more Diamond Select reviews and some Vinimates as promised. So stay tuned for those. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.